YouTube, my name's Kayla Rayne, and today I'll be doing a book review of The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. So the general gist of this story is there is this town called Fairfold where the fairy folk and the humans both live in the same town, though they live very separate lives. The humans, of course, have their regular life in their regular town. There's a high school, grocery stores, the works that we're used to. And then deep in the forest live all the fairy folk, and they all follow the Alder King, who is king of the fairies. And the reason that the fairy folk and the regular humans are able to live together is the humans pay different little tributes to the fairies so they remain happy and they don't do awful things like capturing the townspeople and slinging them upside down, slitting their throats and draining their blood so they can stain their clothes red. However, many tourists don't have the same luck with this, as they don't know how to avoid the folk and the dangers that go along with it. One of the big attractions that kind of brings the tourists to the town is the horned boy, and this is a boy with horns who is asleep in a glass casket, very much like Snow White. Our main protagonist in this story, Hazel, is very much intrigued by the horned boy, as well as her brother, who have been obsessed with fairies since they were little, and actually have a vast history with the fairy folk since they've lived in Fairfold their entire lives. So, as I've stated before, the townspeople have been able to kind of avoid any wrath or anything from the fairies because they know what types of tributes to pay to them and different little things that they can do to avoid the dangers of the fairy folk. However, this ends when the horned boy wakes up and suddenly a monster unleashes itself on the city and actually starts to attack townspeople. And this is where we get to see the main protagonist, Hazel, step up and be the knight in shining armor like she's always wanted to be, to try to save the town as she always has wanted to from the fairy folk and the dangers that they impose upon the people. Hazel teams up with her brother Ben and his best friend Jack to track down the horned boy and try to figure out what's going on, because they're thinking because he woke up, all these other things are starting to happen. And this story just kind of unfolds and we get to find out more about the horned boy, more about Hazel's past and Ben's past, as well as a lot about Jack's past, which is very interesting because he is actually one of the folk, but he lives within the human world. So I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like Holly Black has a really great way of weaving a really realistic world in with a very mythical and fantastic world. I really enjoyed the character lineup in this book, and I felt like there was a great diversity in the characters without it being an essential point to the book, and I really appreciated that. One of my favorite relationships in the book was definitely between Ben and Hazel, and I thought Holly Black did a really great job of exploring the sibling relationship and kind of the jealousies that go along with it, sharing your friends with your siblings, and definitely the differing relationships with the parents. And I thought Holly Black really executed that well, and I like to see kind of the evolution of the relationship within the book. The only thing that I did not like about this book is there were various point of views, and that's not usually a big deal for me, but my only problem with it is it was mostly Hazel, and then we had one point of view from Ben, one point of view from Jack, and possibly, I don't remember exactly, but one point of view from the horned boy. And I just feel like if there are going to be multiple point of views, I like them spread out a little more evenly among the characters. Overall, I would highly recommend this book, even if you don't like fairy books. I'm not a huge fan of fairy books, but I find that Holly Black has a great way of pulling me into stories, and she is the master at standalone paranormal fantasy type books. She does a really great job of building up this awesome story arc and then just tying it all together at the end really well to where you don't have to have a sequel just to get a great fantasy novel. Alright guys, so that has been it for this review. Go ahead and comment in the comment section below what your favorite parts of the book were, or if you haven't read it yet, if you intend to read it. I would highly recommend it because I really enjoyed it. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos as I upload them. And as always guys, thanks for watching. Bye! This is why I've had to film this like 5 times. The tree outside is trying to come into my home. Ugh.